Chrissy Lampkin just came out of the courtroom, head held high. Jim Jones was nowhere to be seen. Why? Because what happened in the hearing, it's the kind of secret you can't get over. A baby, a voicemail, and a name she vowed never to repeat on camera. But tonight, she spoke it loudly and clearly, with tears in her eyes. And guess what? The judge did not even blink. Do you think you've seen drama? You've never seen a woman whip out DNA results in front of his mother and say, "Tell her who the father is, or I will." This isn't love and hip-hop no more. This is real life. And Jim, if you're watching this, she told the world everything. The internet now knows the truth. He looked directly into the camera, eyes red, voice shaking, and murmured, "I didn't think she'd really leave." He then ended the live, but it was too late. The world has already seen the man who once said he'd die before losing Chrissy Lampkin, absolutely broken. What happened on behind those palatial doors had been simmering for months. Nobody expected Chrissy to actually do it. Word just. She secretly filed for divorce when Jim was in Los Angeles with someone he claimed he was done with. Chrissy discovered that it was not only messy, but also volcanic. Insiders claim Chrissy uncovered a second phone. Yes, Jim had a complete burner device buried under his studio floorboards. And guess who blew up the phone? He has an ex. The same ex that Chrissy had warned him about. The one she nearly smacked her in 2018 when she saw her backstage at one of Jim's gigs. That woman was back. This time, she had proof that Jim was telling her everything Chrissy didn't know. Chrissy allegedly obtained screenshots of their most recent messages. We're talking hundreds of texts, audio notes, and even images of Jim and this woman from a Miami hotel just 3 weeks ago. Chrissy assumed he was visiting his mother that weekend. When she confronted him, Jim appeared to laugh at first. He stated it was old, but Chrissy, she had already spoken with the woman. And baby, that woman did not hold back. According to a leaked phone recording between Chrissy and her ex, the woman remarked, "He told me y'all were simply business, that you were living different lives and had your own thing going." He stated the only reason he hasn't quit yet is that it would appear horrible on television. That recording is about to surface, and producers from Love and Hip Hop are in complete panic mode because Chrissy didn't simply stop with the divorce papers. She wants out of the reality show totally, and she wants complete creative control over her material from the previous 2 seasons. But the craziest part is that individuals close to Jim think he's mentally unstable. They allege he's been calling Chrissy nonstop, crying on voicemail and asking her not to damage his reputation. He even promised to cancel the entire show if she took him back. Chrissy, however, is done. She reportedly told one of her friends, he squandered 20 years, thinking he'd grow up. This isn't love. This is shame. Then there's the money. According to sources, Chrissy covertly engaged a forensic accountant months ago, and the results will shock the internet. Jim is alleged to have been funneling shared funds into a separate account with his mother as the sole beneficiary. Yes, Chrissy believes Jim set himself up to flee and left her with nothing. According to one of Chrissy's legal team members, she was initially upset, but is now enraged. It's not only about cheating anymore. It's about betrayal on many levels: personal, emotional, and financial. Meanwhile, Jim claims he has never cheated, that Chrissy is exaggerating things, and that the woman was simply someone from the past reaching out. But if that's the case, why did he remove all of Chrissy's Instagram posts last night before going live? Jim rambled for 45 minutes, pacing back and forth. "I'm in the living room, drinking directly from a Hennessy bottle. I ain't perfect," he admitted at one point, "but I loved her in the best way I knew how. And if that wasn't enough, then I guess I failed," filled the chat. Some were imploring him to fight for her. Others criticized him for his false tears, reminding him that this wasn't the first time he abused Chrissy's trust. And here's the kicker. Someone who watched the live stated that I could hear a woman in the background whispering, "Don't say too much." Social media went crazy with it. Who is she? Was the ex in the house during the live? Was Jim truly upset, or was he simply trying to? Chrissy, meanwhile, has gone absolutely silent on Instagram. Until this morning, she uploaded a blank screen on her story with only 5 words. protecting my peace from now. That article has now been reshared over 80,000 times, and now VH1 is in utter disarray. A producer anonymously disclosed that the network was scrambling to re-edit the current season to diminish Jim and Chrissy's scenes. They are apparently scared Chrissy may. Behind-the-scenes cover-ups are exposed, including one involving Jim allegedly bribing a crew member to remove footage of him leaving a hotel room with someone other than Chrissy. This is no longer a love tale. It's a ticking time bomb. Fans are now demanding Chrissy receive her own spin-off. Twitter is ablaze with hashtags like #TeamChrissy and #GMattLoyal. And one thing's for sure, this is not how anyone expected this chapter to finish. As if things couldn't get much worse, a voicemail apparently sent by Jim to the lady with whom he cheated was leaked last night. In it, Jim says something that even Chrissy's closest friends can't forgive. "I'm weary of pretending. I only remained for the cameras. You're the only person I can breathe around." The woman, who is believed to be Jim's ex from Miami, leaked it anonymously, but admirers recognized Jim's voice immediately. You can even hear his chain is clinking in the background. The message concludes with, "I'm sorry I lied to you. I'm leaving her soon. Just be patient." The internet's jaws dropped. And now, everyone is asking the same thing. Was Jim ever actually in love? Or was their entire romance a staged TV illusion? Chrissy did not say anything. Not at that point. Not even after the live stream finished. She simply sat there, face frozen, heart devastated, and 1,000 things flying through her head. The internet saw a lady scorned, but they didn't see the rage she was about to unleash. Because Chrissy was not going to cry. Not this time. She was determined to make Jim feel all she had suppressed for the previous 18 years. That night, while Jim slept on the couch, phones continued to fire up from bloggers and trolls. Chrissy was already on the phone with her lawyers. And not just any lawyers. She contacted the same attorneys that defended Beyonce's cousin in the high-profile cheating scandal. That is how serious she was. She submitted the papers this morning. The divorce is final and non-negotiable. And this is when things become dark. Because nobody anticipated Chrissy to go public. She did not simply leak the story to the shade room. She scheduled a sit-down. Boom. The internet erupted. Fans were like, wait, affairs plural. And then Chrissy twisted the narrative. Jim wasn't the smooth-talking rapper anymore. He was now the messy man who squandered a genuine opportunity. But here's a twist. Jim had no idea Chrissy was doing all of this. He was still sitting. He was in denial, assuming this would blow over like all their other disputes, until he received a call from his mother. Mama Jones, already enraged by the public outcry, was furious. "Boy, what are you doing? That girl put you on every blog, appearing like a clown. And now she's talking about acquiring the house, the Miami home." That's when it struck him. Chrissy wasn't lying. She was not yelling. She wasn't throwing shoes or threatening to depart as previously. This time, she had already packed and departed with receipts, a lawyer, and a strategy. Jim panicked. He went on live again, sweating, stammering, and attempting to explain. "People always want to twist things. Chrissy and I are good. She's just emotional right now. She is aware that I love her. Nobody's leaving anybody." The comments drew him in. "Bro, she's already departed. Chrissy has already served the papers. Why are you lying? You men only adore us after we go." Even Jim's celebrity buddies started to distance themselves. And an unidentified love and hip-hop producer even leaked Jim's voicemail, pleading them not to reveal unreleased footage from the previous reunion session, in which Chrissy supposedly confronted him off camera about texting his ex at 3 o'clock a.m. But things got worse since Chrissy has receipts, too. And baby, she used them. She released screenshots, text exchanges, and airline reservations. Cash App distributes funds from Jim's business account to the same ex-girlfriend. There was even a selfie. A female tweeted a photo of herself wearing one of Chrissy's old fur jackets in Jim's hotel suite in Atlanta. The caption refers to his girl. "But I am the one he calls when he gets bored with nail paint." That was the last nail. Chrissy didn't even have to speak after that. The entire internet spoke for her. Chrissy deserved better. What did she wait 18 years for? This? She should have left him. In the midst of the turmoil, there was one voice that nobody expected you to speak out. Jim has a son from a prior relationship. He went live and said, "I'm not even trying to be disrespectful to my parents, but Chrissy has been more of a parent to me than he ever was. She showed up for me when it was raw, honest, and devastating. And now he's treating her like this, which isn't right. Jim's entire world is falling. Brand deals began to be canceled. Sponsors quietly withdrew. That sneaker collaboration he had planned is no longer happening. Even VH1 hinted that Chrissy would return for a solo special, with or without Jim. Chrissy was prospering. Paparazzi, I saw her walking inside. In any case, she delivered an excellent performance. Because just like Jim, Chrissy was busy leveling up while pacing in his apartment and watching old videos of them dancing in the living room. She shared a single Instagram story. No words. Simply a video of her pouring champagne into a glass and putting it up to the camera with smirk. And that concludes part 2, because what comes next is about to change everything. And just as Chrissy thought things couldn't get much worse, another bombshell exploded. It began with a phone call from an unknown number. Initially, she ignored it. Then a second call, followed by a third. Something in her stomach urged her to respond. A gentle, quivering voice came through the line. You don't know me, but I believe you deserve the truth. I have been seeing Jim for months. Chrissy's knees buckled. It wasn't about the ex anymore. This was somebody new, a stranger. And she didn't sound like the only one. The woman on the other end of the call stated Jim was leading a double life, saying one thing to Chrissy on social media, crying live, and then leaving her side to comfort other women in secret. Chrissy couldn't talk, breathe. It wasn't heartbreak anymore. This was humiliating. And the ultimate straw, the mysterious woman shared screenshots, voice notes, even a video of Jim in her apartment, shirtless, laughing just days after going live and grieving in front of the public about losing. Chrissy.it was undeniable. The pain wasn't simply personal anymore. It was public. That night, Chrissy packed her belongings, but not before recording one final message to her admirers. In the low light of the now, she peered into the camera with bulging but piercing eyes. I remained mute for years, took L after L, but this is my exit. Do not ask me to forgive what is inexcusable. I traded up my youth, hopes, and name for someone who never intended to keep me. She posted the video around 3 o'clock m.by 7 o'clock a.m. It had 3 million views. Then the internet erupted. Stay strong, queen. We always knew you deserved better. This man has humiliated you for years. We're riding. I am with you now. Jim, on the other hand, woke up in hell. People weren't crying with him anymore. They dragged him. Old videos surfaced, where he joked about commitment and played off Chrissy made sacrifices as if they were normal. Clips from their reality shows reveal her begging for clarity, affection, and direction, but he gave her nothing. Fans eventually saw the pattern, and this time they were not forgiving. The hashtags trended internationally. Hashtag Christy deserves better. Silence is no longer. Jim Jones revealed. Even celebs weighed in. Tammy Rivera noted, the courage it takes to leave after years of devotion. Respect. Tamar Braxton uploaded Chrissy's video, captioning it, say goodbye to the clown. The circus is finished. Jim attempted to clap back another live, but it failed. He seemed exhausted, bewildered, and disconnected. This isn't what you think, man. Chrissy's on a trip. She's letting strangers spoil what we have. I never meant to injure her, but no one believed it because Chrissy hadn't. I basically recounted her story. She displayed it. Every scar, betrayal. Every late night she waiting for a man who never returned home. And now it was Jim's time to sit in silence, alone and publicly, without her. Behind the scenes, insiders Chrissy claimed to have already hired a lawyer, not only for divorce but also for restitution. 15 years, one close friend stated. She gave up her profession, her time, her everything, and she's walking away with nothing. Not if I have anything to say. Meanwhile, reports circulated that Jim's label was pulling back. His next project was on hold. Brand discounts are no longer available. No one wanted to be linked with the man who broke the internet. All the wrong reasons. Chrissy flew to Paris alone. The paparazzi saw her on a rooftop terrace, wine glass in hand, wind whipping through her curls. She did not appear broken. She appeared reborn. Later that day, she shared a photo with the remark, everything. I choose peace. I choose me. That post received 10 million likes. The next day, rumors resurfaced. Chrissy was in talks to release a memoir. Oprah's team approached her for a sit-down interview. Major fashion brands wanted her to be the face of resilience, and Jim was still on live, attempting to explain, but the audience had left because no one wanted to hear the same boring justifications from a man who had every chance and still bungled the queen, which he didn't deserve. As the credits of this scandal played out over social media screens, one thing became clear: Chrissy was no longer the victim. She was the survivor, the woman who waited, prayed, struggled, and eventually said enough. Jim, well, maybe he'll get it one day. When the applause stops, the cameras dim, and the lives disappear. Dark,